And what is up, guys? We are live. Waiting for some people to hop on here. Hopefully, we'll have a lot of people jumping on here within the next couple minutes. We're not really going to go into too depth into anything right now. We're going to wait a couple minutes and just let everybody hop on here. So, as you guys are hopping on, please go ahead. Go ahead in the comments section. Tell us who's here. We'll see you guys coming across there, and get any questions ready for us that you want answered right away. Okay, so go ahead, get those questions there for us. Post, if you're here, post your name in the chat. Tell us who's here, and we'll be starting here in just a minute. All right. Take a swig of coffee, man.
Yeah, Starbucks.
Nah, dude. Why'd I do Starbucks? Dunkin', man.
Dunkin'.
Dude, I live on Dunkin', man. I swear.
I've been there like one time.
Dude, you're letting me down.
Sorry, bro. I'm a Starbucks guy.
You're no longer have access to my page anymore. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. That's cool.
It's going there. It's going
Boom.
there. Boom. All right, guys. As you guys are hopping on, as I said, go ahead, tell us where you're from, tell us who you are, and we'll be starting here in just a minute. I'm not going to wait too long, just another minute here or two, just to allow everybody to kind of hop on here, because I know most people are going to be watching the replay of this. Make sure that, if people, you have people that are close with, that you're masterminding with, that you're talking to, doesn't matter. Make sure they get to this link. It's super important if you want to be successful in your business. So, and of course, people have to hit me up right now asking, hey, I don't know how the business works. Okay. Should be on the webinar. All right. Let's jump into this and let's go over a few things that I wanted to touch base on tonight. So earlier tonight, I was actually at a Dunkin'. I think I did a live stream from there. And it's the Halloween night, so of course there's tons of people there. And all I heard was complaining, crybabies, right? And one thing I really have to tell you guys, do you know what a complaint is? Do you know what it is, Blaze? Any idea? And he hops off. Tyrone, any idea what complaining means?
Yes, I know.
What is complaining?
Oh man, I don't know if this is gonna work.
Well, not just that. Not just that.
This?
Not just that.
Oh man, I'm sick of work, or my mom hates me, or my friend doesn't like me, or I'm never gonna do what I want to do, and all these rich people are stealing money from everybody, and all the world.
That's what a lot of times.
It's just negative.
Yeah, that's what you get a lot of times is people are complaining about other people having money when they don't. But the biggest thing that came back and really struck me was all these people are making excuses for themselves, right? They're sitting here making excuses. And I said this earlier in one of the chats. You can make money or you can make excuses, but you can't do both. And sitting in Dunkin' Donuts, listening to all these people complain and, a bunch of crybabies, hey, life is so hard. It's hard if you think it's hard. It will be, right? And guaranteed there's going to be things that are hard in your life, but it doesn't mean you have to sit there and focus on them, right? What's hard is hard. Just get it done. So that being said, I do want to jump into some other things here. One about, avoiding negativity in your business. Okay. No matter who you are, you're going to come, you're going to have some bad days. You're going to have good days. I actually have only like 7 or 8 sales today. And I'm like, man, should be at 10 or 15, but as you start progressing through this, you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. That's just how it is. But as long as you're keeping a positive mindset and you're keeping things moving forward, that is where you start gaining real wealth, because people that are creating massive wealth are not sitting there, they're not sitting there crying over spilled milk. They're trying to fix things. They're trying to make solutions, right? Not more problems. Okay. So, now, as I said before, you can chat on the live feed. Actually, if you go to YouTube, you can go ahead and moderate some of the comments, Tyrone, to see what people are chatting on there. You want to go to YouTube. You'll have to actually travel, go to the YouTube link itself. No, not the Hangout link. So as I said, guys, I have Blaze Garcia on here, Tyrone on here, and tonight we're going to go through the system. We're going to go through any questions and answers you guys have, because this is basically what's called a tech talk. It's about getting your mindset right. It's about doing a couple different things, and it's about going over any single problem that you have. On top of that, as I said, I want to cover the system just so just people were unclear about certain things. So we're going to go through the system tonight. We're going to go through mindset and motivation, and I want to talk about this just for a second. Tyrone, I know your motivation. I know the reason you get up in the morning. Please tell us a little bit about the reason you do this business. Let us know like what your motivation is, what your reason is, because motivation is temporary, but reasons are, more permanent. So tell us your reasons. Tell us your motivation. Tyrone. Tyrone froze out. As soon as we do that, Tyrone freezes on us. Tyrone. Okay, so I'll try and fill in here for a second. Was going to ask Tyrone there, but he maybe his computer died. Maybe he lost connection. I don't know. So Blaze, Tyrone isn't on here anymore, correct?
I do not see Tyrone. Yes.
Okay, no problem. All right, so one of the reasons.
He's back.
I don't know what happened. Sorry.
Okay. So can you tell us, as I was saying before, motivation is temporary. Reasons, that you do this business are more long-term. They're your motivation, reason for getting up. Please tell us about those reasons, because every single person, I think, should have a set of reasons that they're in this business, right? It's kind of like, if you're just going to work for the next paycheck, you're just there for your next check. Well, in this business, you got to be there to get to the top, right? So what are your reasons? What are your motivation? And try to inspire these guys, Tyrone. Tell them a little bit about your motivation.
Really quick, a little brief story about me. I've been marketing online for almost 2 years now, probably the same amount as Justin has. I used to have 2 full-time jobs, working like 40, 50 plus hours a week. I didn't really know what I was doing because I was doing the same exact thing each and every day, Monday through Saturday, same thing over and over again. And I realized that there was more to it than just slaving my life away so an employer could get all the money, And my motivation is basically my daughter, okay? Some of you probably seen a lot of pictures and videos on Facebook or Instagram of my daughter. I know Justin has. And she's my reason. She's my purpose. And I feel that, I do not want to put her in a situation where I was, with her being in my life and my wife being in my life. Them two, my wife and my daughter, they are the reason why I do what I do, because I feel if you're willing to contribute value towards others, people that you care about and love, life, the universe will grant you your riches. And the fact that, being able to just implement this business to create, my daily lives in my own terms, versus, waking up 5 in the morning, clocking in, and then clocking out, and then that's it. And in this business, in this platform, you have to understand 2 things: your purpose and why you do it. Okay, so you have to find the purpose on behalf of what you're doing. Is it for money? Is it for family? Is it for traveling? Is it more time to do what you want? And the reason, and also, understanding your why. If you don't have, your why, then you're kind of wasting your time. You're slaving yourself each and every day, because if you're waking up, not determined, go back to sleep. And if you're not, going to sleep satisfied, then you're not living. You're just surviving. You're just existing in this place we call a universe. And that's basically my motivation is my wife and my daughter. And I hope you all have a motivation. If y'all need to, write it down on a piece of paper and like put it in your car or in the bathroom mirror or on your refrigerator, so you see it every single day. So it's like coded into your mind, so it keeps reminding you each and every day, do this, keep going, push forward. So that is my why. Take it away, Justin.
Yeah, so guys, I want you to go ahead and right now, if you haven't yet, first of all, I want you to go ahead and find out what your why is. Is it your daughter? Is it your child? Is it your wife, your girlfriend? What the hell is your motivation for being in this business? Because a business without purpose, guys, it won't survive. You need purpose, right? That's the whole reason you started here, is because you thought of, like, typically when someone saw the ad, they thought of one thing. They said, okay, they thought of one person. They thought of one thing they could improve in their life. What is that thing? Write it down, and I want you to look at it every single day. Super important to not only be able to self-motivate yourself, but to have a reason. And have what's called a why. It's one of the most important things in running any type of business, because people that are just in this to make extra money typically fizzle out, okay? Because it's just, oh, well, if this works out, maybe, guys, you have to believe it before you can see it, right? It's kind of like if you're going into a swimming pool and you jump in and you dive in, right? You're gonna get wet. If you dip your toe in the water and you're like, well, it's cold, you're not going to go swimming, right? Well, it's the same exact thing. If you're dipping your toe in the water in this and just going half-assed, it's kind of like, you're half-assed in sports. I don't know who here is in sports or whatever, but if you're just doing it halfway, you're not going to get any results. You're not going to get what you want out of it, right? So you have to be 100% on whatever you're doing, right? And that's in your job, right? If you're not 100% at your job, you get fired, right? If you're not 100% on anything, you lose where you're at, right? You don't gain momentum, right? Right now, I'm telling you, if you want to gain momentum in this business, go 100%, not 50. And the main way to find to get to that 100% is to find your why. So sit there, think about it, write it down, whatever. Now, this is mostly a motivational part of the Hangout, but I'm not going to do motivation the whole freaking time here. I do want to go into some of the key components of the system, run through any questions and comments, answer any questions. That's what this is for. So Tyrone, does anybody asking anything yet? Anybody come up with any questions in the YouTube or in any of the chats? Okay. Okay. All right, guys, you should have like tons and tons of questions. All week long, there's tons and tons of questions. I'm jumping on calls with people. You need to save your questions for the team Hangouts, because, maybe someone else has that same question. Maybe someone else is, wondering that same exact thing. And you got to understand, at this point, this business is like, we're up on problems up here, right? As you progress, you start down here. You have these problems. Then you have these problems. Then you have these problems. Well, we're not worried about these problems anymore. So you got to come back and just, once in a while say, hey, I'm having issues with this, right? Okay, I'm having issues with this. Let us know, right? We want to know how to help you guys, right? We want to see you guys lining your pockets. We don't want to see you, not creating any success, right? If you don't create any success, honestly, I feel like I failed, right? So I want to go ahead and have you guys asking as many questions as possible. So the next thing I'm going to go into is kind of into the system here. It'll just be a short couple minutes, and then we can do questions and answers as long as you guys want. I'm going to pull Blaze out here because Blaze, has a different motivation, different reason. First of all, I'm going to tell you the reason I got started in this. I actually, at the time, I was attending college. And I don't tell this story a lot of times, but I was attending college full time. I was also working full time. I was working about 50 to 55 hours a week, sometimes 60 hours a week, and going to a full-time university. I realized one thing. My buddy ended up giving me a call after he graduated college, shortly after. His dad is a multimillionaire. He gave me a phone call the one day, or I gave him a phone call, I'm not sure. But I ended up talking to my one buddy who graduated high school with me. I said, hey, man, you were a year ahead of me in college. How's your new job? You graduated. It was, how are things going? And he said, well, life is awesome, man, but I'm still working the same job I was in college. And that's when it really struck me. Just because you have a degree doesn't necessarily mean you're going to accomplish the things you want. So first of all, I had a why. I had a big motivation. I had a lot of reasons. My dad is my motivation. If you know that story, cool. If not, no big worries. My dad passed away in 2013. All right. Now, going back to the story, he was still working his job that he had in college. And I said, dude, how is that okay? Right? Your dad's a multimillionaire. And he said, yeah, he is. But the problem is he can't land me any jobs in this area. Everybody knows he's my dad, and they know that he, even if he says, hey, give him a job, they're not doing it, right? They don't want a referral from someone, who's biased, basically. Okay. So he said, I couldn't get a job. I don't have the connections. And he said, I'm still working a $10 an hour job with $50,000 in debt. And this seems to be a case of a lot of the young Americans, the young, kind of our group of people these days, is they go to college, they expect, this magical job to appear out of nowhere, and then it just doesn't happen. Well, that's exactly what happened to me. I was in college for about 3 years, started an online business, and as soon as I made my first $15,000 job, I actually dropped out of college, and I actually walked away from my full-time job in 4 months. So that's my story. The reason I got into this was, it scared me when I heard of that guy, my buddy, didn't have a job. That scared me, right? Spend $80,000 to get nothing. That scared the hell out of me. So I was on a webinar one day, and someone asked me one question: what's your plan B? If college doesn't work out, if you get fired at your job, what is your plan B? And I found it out. I figured it out. I figured out online marketing. I started my own business, and I knew that I was that motivated, right? Nothing was going to stop me from creating some type of success. I was going to be in here until I created it. Several months later, I created it, right? That's the deal. So Blaze is also has a similar background like myself. He didn't go through as many struggles in his life, but it oftentimes when you're in a more comfortable situation, it's actually harder to create success. Now, Blaze has been with me in multiple other business opportunities, has generated up to 5 figures in a single month, so $10,000, has done very well, and he knows his stuff. So I'm going to let him speak for just a minute, and then we're going to go into the system. We're going to plug through any questions. I'm going to go through all the chats here while he's on here, and I'm going to go through the YouTube chat as well. So take it away, Blaze.
All right. Thanks, Justin. So, I've been online marketing for a little over 2 years. I've been with Justin basically since the beginning. We started around the same time. I've known Tyrone for a little over a year. I've done multiple businesses, doing MCA right now. My story is I wasn't really having a quote unquote shitty childhood like Justin, but in a way I was kind of too comfortable, but I had all these big goals and dreams I wanted to do, but I just felt like I was in the wrong vehicle. I was attending college at the time. I was in my 4th year and I had 1 year left to go. I was looking for a job at the point. I had already had job experience, and I wasn't able, the turning point for me was despite my degree credentials and the fact that I have all this job experience, I still wasn't able to get a job in the field that I was interested in. And what ended up happening was I ended up actually downgrading from a job that was paying $20 an hour. I was a data analyst or something, and I was working at a coffee shop making minimum wage. And I'm like, holy shit, the world is changing and the old ways of thinking and doing aren't doing it anymore. And I'm literally putting my balls, excuse my language, I'm putting my balls in somebody else's hands and hoping that it's going to work out. And I eventually got to a point where I'm like, enough is enough. I'm going to start, striving to get to where I want to go on my own terms. And so I started doing this with Justin. I was able to walk away from my job in about 9 months from another business that we were doing, which was, looking back, was a lot more expensive to start up, was a bit more riskier. It was newer at the time. But long story short, in a way, I feel like I was kind of at a comfort point where, I wasn't financially struggling. I mean, I had enough money to pay the bills. My parents were giving me some money to pay rent and whatever. But I was at that comfort stage where you're not really like struggling or like, oh shit, I got to make this meet, or I'm not gonna be able to survive or whatever. But I was at the comfort point, which in a sense is almost from a mindset perspective is almost more disadvantageous than having being a struggle. Because when you're struggling, you're like, oh, I got to make it to the top. When you're comfortable, you're kind of just want to be comfortable. So what I actually ended up doing was, because I had studied successful people, I'd read books like Think and Grow Rich. He's a guy who studied like the 100 world's wealthiest people. And I even studied people like today creating success. And like the common story between all of them is that they were at a shitty point in their life and they had to go up. They had to make it. They had to do something about it. And so what I actually did is that I deliberately made the decision to actually drop out of school, because I knew that if I put myself in that situation, as risky as it was, I had no choice but to go up to the top. So what I actually did is that I went from a comfortable position to a shittier position, but I did it on purpose because I knew that if I put myself in that situation, I would have to go up and succeed. Now, I'm not saying people have to do this or you should do this, but this is just my story and what I've been able to do. So I haven't worked a job in a little over a year now. I basically do this full time. I've learned more in the past year and a half, almost 2 years doing this than I have even going to school. And I was doing like science and math and stuff. Like I was doing, you could say I was so quote unquote educated. And even like the fancier degree stuff that you learn, most of the stuff you learn is not useful. Most of it is garbage, because you can learn it for free online. But anyway, coming to motivation, the main takeaway for anybody watching this is like, you really have to like think about what your goals are for yourself. Like not everybody's going to be a billionaire. Not everybody's going to be a decamillionaire or hectamillionaire, but you really got to find out what is it that you want to achieve. Like your goal could be, I want to make an extra 500 a week and be able to stay at home with my friends and family and just watch Netflix all day or game all day or go to parties occasionally. That could be your goal, and there's nothing wrong with that. Or your goal could be, I want to make an extra 1,500 a week so that I can go travel and go to other countries. I want to go to Canada, South America, Europe, Africa, Australia, whatever that is. So there's really like, you don't want to set your goal based on what you think society, like what you think is cool. You should set it based on exactly what you want. And then you have to decide, how much income do I need to live the lifestyle that I want to live? And then you want to focus on that each and every single day and then strive towards that. And don't be afraid to think a little bigger. Like at the point that I started this, I was just like, yeah, it'd be cool to make an extra like couple hundred a week. Then eventually I got to that point. I'm like, it'd be cool to make 1,000 a week. Then it'd be cool to make 2,000 a week. So you don't want to overwhelm yourself, but you want to think of a goal that is exciting. You want to stay excited, and you want to have a goal that seems realistic to you. And you got to typically just break it down into, for example, if your goal is, oh, I want to make an extra, let's say I want to make an extra $1,000 a week. Then you're like, okay, if I need to make $1,000 a week, how many sales do I have to make per week? So we'll say it's like 12 sales a week. So you can divide that into, 7 days. You got to make, let's say, 2 sales a day. If you make 2 sales a day in MCA, which is not that hard to do. If you're doing paid ads, it's not hard to do 2 sales a day. You're already achieving your goal of $1,200 a week. And then that might give you the finances to do what it is that you want to do. So, your goal could be, I want to make 10,000 a week. Your goal could be 200 a week. Your goal could be 1,000 a week. Like you set whatever goal it is you want for yourself, but don't be afraid to think bigger. It's really up to you what you want. But the main takeaway is that like when you're thinking about this business, don't focus so much on, oh, I'm just doing it to make money. The money is the tool to achieve the lifestyle or achieve what it is you want to achieve. Like for me, I was always interested in traveling, in music and stuff like that. Different things that Tyrone and Justin are into. But I just think about the things I want to buy. Oh, I want to buy a cool drum set, or oh, I want to buy a plane ticket to go to this place, or I want to buy some video games or something like that, or I want to buy something I'm interested to invest in another business. So you want to really think about the end. You don't want to think about the tool. Money is the tool to achieve the end, right? Some of you might be in this, like you're only focused on the money part, and that's cool. I'm all for making money. But at the end of the day, what really motivates me to go out and make sales and make money is, what am I going to use that money for? So the main takeaway is that you can't treat this like a job. It's a business. You have to have the mindset to think like an entrepreneur, and you can make as much or as little as you want. There's no right or wrong amount to strive for. I mean, why not just strive for the most you can? So you'll eventually get to a point where I'm making an extra 1,000 a week, then you won't be satisfied. Like, hey, can I make 2,000 a week? Can I make 5,000 a week? Can I make 10,000 a week? And you'll eventually get to that point. So that's all I wanted to touch on. But the main point with motivation is always have your eye on the prize. What is it do I want to achieve? And you want to focus on that all the time. And you're the only one who knows what your potential is. You're the only one who knows what you want. Maybe your goal isn't to travel. Maybe your goal is to stay at home and freaking, I don't know, do gaming all day or play music with my buddies or go hang out, go play sports. You have to focus on exactly what your goal is. That's it. So sorry if I ranted a little bit, but I hope that helped.
All right, awesome. So a couple of these guys had some questions here. We're going to jump through these questions in just a second. Let me log into my account here. All right, so let me go ahead and first, thanks, Blaze, for hopping on here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, and there are a couple questions in the chat. Do you see any more, Tyrone? It's just, I see about...
I got Jared Young. Tell us a little about what it takes from being new in industry in order to progress in a way that is both constructive, but also critical to teach us things we may not have thought of.
Okay. So the only thing I really see, the only really big question was the one guy had a question about how to set up your autoresponders. That's pretty simple. I'll do a quick walkthrough on that. I'll go through the system and do a walkthrough on that as well, to just show you guys how that kind of works. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Tell me when you can see it.
1 second.
Was I pretty on time?
Yep.
Golden. Okay, so back here in the back office, okay, of your Facebook page or whatever you want to call it, you can go ahead and do this on the Pages app as well. It'll be in the messaging section. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to your page, you're going to go to settings, all right, and after this, you're going to go to messaging. After you go to messaging, you can go ahead and input your autoresponder response in here. So this is just telling me my own name, but I add personalization to it as well. So we go into here. So, hey, Justin, right? It's just a name. So add personalization. Thanks for showing interest to get access to the site. Just one tip here for you guys. By inputting this personalization and this name here, it'll actually increase the amount of conversions you get, okay? Now, this is when you have your site done for you and everything like that. This is where you go. As I said, just one little tip, make sure you add the name personalization in there. It will increase the amount of sales that you get on average, okay? Now, let me go ahead and get back out of here. Let me go into the team training site. So, okay, so you've probably seen all these training. We're actually adding more to this. So everybody has the ability to run their own funnel, which is more complicated. Do not progress to that unless you're like really ready to take this business head on, because it's complicated. Okay. Now, let me go into the system here and the members back office. So this is our new system here. All your websites and everything are created for you. Let me go ahead. We had some questions on this, how to set this up. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into this here real quick. So I'm going to go into settings, and this is how you go ahead and set up your referral. Okay. So let's go ahead and get out of here. Okay. So to set up my referral, what I do is I copy out this 86725. Because that's my referral, right? An associate section. And I would paste that in there and then hit save, okay? At that point, everything would be coded to you after the fact. Now I'm gonna go ahead and prove my point that all these pages are now coded to me. So let me go ahead and jump into this, okay? So this is a web page automatically built for me through the system. I'm gonna go ahead and click this button. And 675. Okay. It has my referral in it, and boom, my name pops right up. Okay. So the system works; it's fully functional. As I said, there was one more thing we were adding to it. And I'll be adding actually another web page here shortly that's MCA specific just for selling the insurance. Okay, that will be up shortly. Just been busy handling a bunch of different things for you guys.
Hey, Justin,
them all. Yeah.
Switch. All they see is they don't see your screen. Like,
you're not seeing my screen.
Like they see it, but it's not like they have me as the big screen.
What the hell, man?
I don't know how.
Tyrone, you might have to mute.
Yeah, can you see mine now?
Yes, whoever is the most recent person that talks, you'll see their screen. So we'll
yeah,
just
you might have to mute, bro. Okay, can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
So appreciate it. All right. So as I said before, let me go ahead and walk right back through that real quick since everybody wasn't seeing this. Okay, so all I did is I went over here to my TVC back office, grabbed my affiliate URL, okay, this 86725. I copied it and pasted it right into my members dashboard here. So pasted that right in there, and then I hit save. When I did that, all the web pages are automatically coded on my behalf. And there's a checkout link straight to MCA. All right, now as I said before, we're also adding the insurance as well. Web pages that are basically just to try and sell the actual auto insurance, which is great. You guys can go ahead and promote that as well. We're always making changes here for you guys, trying to put in the work. So let me go ahead, pull out of here. We're going to go over a couple more things here and see if there's any more questions. All right, did I pull out of the screen now? I want to make sure everything's working right. We good, Tyrone? All right, sweet. Okay, so let me go ahead and go through a few other things here. All right, so another thing I was going to cover is I don't remember now. I completely had setting your goals, guys. Okay, so every single person, and Blaze touched on this briefly. You should know what you have to do daily, right, to actually hit your income goal. When I started this, you'll actually be surprised. My income goal was $60,000, $60K. Okay, I have a paper that says I want to make $60,000. I want to be able to take care of certain people, and that's what I wanted. Okay. When I started this, I wrote that down. I actually told my mentor that as well, because we had calls with our mentors back then, and he asked me what my why was. I came forward and I said I wanted to make 60K, guys. I'm making way over 60K right now. Okay, so it does work, but you have to sit down and think about, okay, how many sales does it take per day for me to hit this income goal, right? And a lot of people don't do this, but you have to do something called millionaire math. Okay, it doesn't mean you're going to $1 million, right? It just means you're sitting down, and it's a term from Grant Cardone, where you want to figure out how to hit your income goal, right? So, and a lot of people, this is the problem where people get caught up, and they never hit the goals that they want, is they don't do the math, right? You don't do the math, you can't hit it, right? So sit down, do the math one time and say, okay, these should be my goals. I should be able to do 3 sales a day, right? This is my goal, right? $60,000 this year, okay? So what you'll do is you go ahead and break down, there's 365 days in a year, right? All right, year's 365 days long. How many sales do I have to do to hit what I want? Okay, so let's say I want to hit $60,000. All right, so I want to hit 60K. I'm going to divide 60K by 365. How many sales is that? Okay, it's 2 sales a day. $60,000 is 2 sales a day with this company. All right, so when you look at 60K, it's this big number, right? When you look at it at a weekly number, it might be a little scary yet too. When you look at it at, on a daily number, 2 sales a day isn't a scary number. It's not a hard number to hit at all, guys. Okay, so as I said, go ahead, break down your daily goals, and just like accomplish them. It's easier to accomplish a daily goal than to set one out a week, because often if you make it a week-long goal or whatever, you'll procrastinate and you'll never hit any of your goals. Okay, or a month-long goal or a year-long goal, make them short. Like I'm short term. Okay, I need to get 2 sales today. Okay, how many people do I need to promote to get 2 sales? Well, Justin says you need to get, 80 leads per sale or 60 leads per sale. So I need to generate 120, 130, 140 leads today. Boom, done. Easy math, right? Okay. So Tyrone, do you have anything we should cover here? Do we have, you're adding people? Adding people to the chat. Okay. Do you have anything we should cover here before we jump off here? I want to be on here for, another 30 minutes here, but if people don't need it, they don't need it.
Not that moment.
Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. As I said before, guys, there's a couple of you guys really crushing it here. I want to do some shout outs to some people here. Let me go ahead and I'm going to pull out of this screen real quick. Just give me 1 second to pull this up. I got to log into my accounts. Freaking account logs me out like every 5 minutes. I don't understand it. Okay. Let's go into this. Okay. Shout out to Dakota, Brandon Morris, Yarley, Tyrone, Steve, all you guys for doing sales this week already. Good job. I want to go back 1 week prior. I do want to shout out some other people as well. Prior week. Go ahead and pull this out. Okay, we have some leaders doing some sales as well, but I'm not going to throw them in here. Last week, we had a guy named Tyler Pennington make sales, Chrislyn, Adam, Steve again, Marcos, Yarley. Congrats, guys. Keep up the hard work. It pays off eventually. So anything else you want to go through, Tyrone, right now? Anything else you want to go through? Because I think I covered the system. I covered all the questions. There's only like
basically, everyone, I see everyone is rushing the process right now. I basically want everyone to really be very, very patient and be very strict into implementing the tools and the training, guys. I've been seeing a lot of people expecting money overnight, and there's a lot of questions that are answered in the training. So understand that me and Justin, we provide training. We've invested a lot of time and money on understanding this skill set. So make sure, guys, everyone just be very patient in this process. Rome wasn't built overnight. Steve Jobs didn't build his empire overnight. You gotta understand this is a real business, as Justin said. So you have to take steps, at a time. Okay, baby steps, little by little, and just keep going and going and going. If you don't see results the way you want, then you think back, what am I doing wrong? Okay, what am I doing that's not effective? You have to apply self-awareness on what you're doing, who you're talking to, or what are your habits. So make sure if there's things that you're unsure of, have the initiative to, confront me and Justin, be like, hey, I don't know how to do this. Am I doing this wrong? Am I doing this right? I'm not feeling it. What's going on? Like, what am I doing? Just communicate with us. Be very, very, very patient, and really have the be very attentive on what you're doing in your business, because this is, as Blaze says, I am the prize. Okay, I am the prize. Think long term, guys. Okay, as Justin really influences, if you're here more than 30 days, there's a high percentage where you're gonna make more money. Okay, and just stay positive and just keep going, guys. Like this is we're called, we're called the MCA game changers, the MCA for the win. Like we say that for a good reason, because Justin has a lot going got a lot going on for us, and we're about to make some changes. MCA guys, we're about to break some records, no doubt about it. Am I right, Justin? Am I right, my man?
Guys, let me explain this to you. There's only one faster moving group out there for MCA right now. So we are literally almost at the top. We are literally going to be the top here pretty soon. We just don't have enough numbers yet to really hit it. But I guarantee within the next 2 months, you'll see our group at the top. Okay, so as Tyrone said, stay patient with the process and ask yourself the one question: what am I not getting in my business, right? Unless you're creating all the sales you want, then you don't have to ask that question. But you should sit down, ask that question: what am I not getting enough in my business? What can I improve, right? What am I missing? Okay. And you sit down, write down those notes, write down your problems, and get on a call with one of us, right? Because obviously we probably have a solution. As I said before, our problems are up here, right? We're up here, okay? So we can solve your problems down here. They're easy for us, right? But they might be more complicated for you. So you either learn from mistakes or you learn from mentors. Well, you learn from mistakes either way, but you learn from your mistakes, you learn from someone else's, okay? I suggest you learn from ours because we spend a lot of time, a lot of effort, and we put a lot of energy in this already, and we know what works and we know what doesn't, right? So if you're having a problem, an issue in your business, go ahead, reach out to one of these leaders. We do kind of, no one gets up here by, being stupid or not being able to solve point A or point B, So we got up here by time, effort, energy, and being able to solve problems, right? So ask yourself those questions. What am I not getting in my business? Where am I getting stuck? Okay. And as you figure that out, you'll be able to accomplish those goals. You'll be able to start actually changing things for yourself. So that being said, we'll be on here for another 5 minutes. Question and answer. Go to the chat. Ask us any questions you guys want. The new training videos, time frame. Jared, I wouldn't even worry about those yet because the training videos are going to be very complicated. This is more complicated stuff than you're used to. This is literally managing every single point of an entire business. So I do not suggest jumping into that before you mastered point A and point B, okay? A business is kind of like a car, right? And you have 4 tires, right? Okay, so you got these 4 points, and I'd love to cover the 4 points, but it's probably terms that you guys aren't familiar with, but just know it's 4 tires, all right? You're working on tire number 1 right now. You're replacing that tire. We have the other 3 tires inflated for you, okay? So all you got to do is pump that 1 tire up, right? Then you can drive, you can roll, you can, do your thing. If all 4 tires are flat, that's a problem. That's an issue, right? And you won't be able to know which tire is your problem or your issue because you can't. It's business is not like tires. It's too hard to tell what you're not getting enough of. So stick with one thing, learn it, master it, move to the next. Stick to and as you progress through here, you'll be able to master everything and every skill set.
Master the basics, and then you can be able to master the advanced and so forth.
Correct. Because things don't get easier; they just get more complicated. Okay. The reason we put this system in place with you is because some of the emails tactics and some of the hosting and all this other stuff gets kind of confusing. All right. Tyrone was on a call with me a couple weeks ago. He's like, dude, I can't figure out this hosting problem. So everybody else understand the problems just get bigger, right? So, as I said, stick with the easy stuff for now, learn it, master it, move to the next, okay? Once you master it, then be willing to move to the next, all right? So do we have any questions here that I can cover in depth for you guys? Need my referral link, okay? Let's cover that real quick. MCA gives you your referral link after your forms have been completed. Earlier, I did show you where you can go grab your referral link in the back office of TVC, okay? If they did not give you your referral link and all your forms are approved, okay, all 4 forms are approved, and doesn't matter, just get on a chat with TVC, okay, a live chat, or call them, and what you can go ahead and do is you can just request that link.
Also, really quick, Justin said if all your forms are approved and has check marks, and in your associate tab, your website isn't there yet. What you can do is go to tvcmarketing.com, sign in, and then click on account. There's going to be some links at the bottom, and that link is basically the same exact thing. So TVC Marketing and TVC Matrix, they are the same thing, guys. Okay, so use those 2 things. You could check your Matrix. If it's not there, check your TVC Marketing. Okay, so both are the same thing.
Yeah, when you go ahead and you create a TVC Matrix account, it'll automatically create a TVC marketing account for you. It's just their new website. So you can go ahead and check that out as well. It should be automatically created for you. So do we have any questions that we need to cover? I believe that was, just hit that one. Okay, that's most of the questions here. I do want you guys to have more questions for us next week when we go into this, because unless you're doing better than us or Tyrone or whatever, you should have questions. Like I used to work for a guy, and guy was a dick, but he did have one point. He said, if you don't have any questions, then you must be doing really, really well at your job, right? And all the time, he'd point out things I did wrong, and he said, well, you should have a question for me, right? So you should have questions unless you're doing better than us. So always have questions.
So Ian is asking why people are not even replying to me. People will ask me info, and once I send it, I say to watch the video and ask me any question, if any. Ian, it's basically a numbers game, because not 100% people will engage in a post or anything. Like maybe like 1 out of 50 or 1 out of 100 people will actually do what you ask them to do. So it's a numbers game. So the more leads you get, the more people you get engaged, the higher percentage and more numbers people will actually engage in your posts. What you want, what you don't need to do is keep pushing them, okay? Because I caught myself sometimes where they ask for info, I give them info, and then I did a follow up, and then another one, and then another one, another one. So I pretty much overflowed their cup of tea, and they're gone. I lose that lead. So business is a give and take. So they ask for info, you give them info, that's it. Just wait, and then they come, and then you go back, and they come, and then you go back. So it's a give and take type of thing. So just be very patient with it. As I said, it's a numbers game. All right, Ian.
Yeah, good point, guys. Yeah, I mean, this business, as I said, it's a little bit of a patience thing. You're going to deal with a lot of people. It's just the name of the game. And it takes time. So, number one reason why it takes time is figuring out people. And I have a bunch of different sales tactics for you guys there, how you can automate stuff, how you can make stuff easy, copy and paste, all that type of good stuff. So make sure if you didn't check out, those sections in the training, you do, because copy and paste is going to save you a lot of times and a lot of headache. Also, if you do any type of follow-ups, as Tyrone said, don't follow up. You do one follow-up. If they don't take action, they're not going to take action. As Ty Lopez says, you can't teach a pig how to fly. Don't do it and it bothers the pig, all right? So it can't do it, right? So if the person doesn't want to learn, they don't want to learn, right? It doesn't matter.
Justin. All right, so here's the question for you. He's asking, how often do you get on a call with leads? I have scripts I say to people, but I remember you suggesting I should get some calls.
Yeah, I actually don't jump on calls with people very often. I only do it if I'm low on leads. But if you're low on leads, the cool thing about phone calls and communication, if you have good interpersonal relationship skills, so you talk to people well, you can communicate effectively, you can really all you got to remember is talk about the facts, right? Don't mention anything outside of the facts. Typically, facts and information sells. So if you do get on a phone call with someone, just go through facts about MCA, okay? Business has been around since 1926. Dope. Okay, cool. You know one fact. All right. So, I don't want to be a part of any type of scam. Well, as I said, the business has been around since 1926. I mean, it's has an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. I mean, scams don't have an A+ for the BBB, right? The BBB is the company that shuts scams down. So they would not be rating them A+ if they were a garbage company.
That's right.
Go through all the selling points, go through the facts, the information. And typically I don't use a script, guys. You learn sales in and out. you're good, right? People are going to have what's called objections, all right? And I have objection training in the training, so go through the objections. And you gotta remember, people want to buy to solve a problem. Okay, so what problem are they trying to solve? Right? I love talking about other people. Right? People love talking about themselves. So if you go ahead and you ask, hey, what are you doing this for? What's the reason? Right? As you said before, when you saw the advertisement, you probably thought of someone in the back of your mind, in your head. You probably thought of someone. You're like, okay, that is typically the problem and the reason. That's your why. So when you go ahead and you say, hey man, what are you getting into this for? Boom, right? A lot of times that's a selling point. People love to talk about themselves. And remember one thing, people love to buy, no one likes to be sold to. So facts and information, talk to the people, communicate effectively, build a relationship. And, typically most people end up taking action. So.
Yeah. In this business, it's not all about money, as Blaze said. So when these leads come in, okay, don't think of them just a lead, a number, a name, a list. You have to think of them as a human being, an actual person that's actually going to invest their time and money in you, because they're not buying in the money or the life. They're buying it in you. They're trusting you to build a business so they can create a life that they desire. So you have to treat these leads as people. Okay, connect with them, get to know them. You want to build trust, because if you don't, then they're going to see you just as a robot or a scam artist or a fake account. So you have to consider these numbers, in the screen where you see their name, you see their information. Don't see them as just these characters, these on the text. See them as a real person, okay? Because you want to build trust, you want to build a relationship, you want to understand. Okay, so understand why they want to do this. Understand their story, because their story can influence hundreds of people, because people will share their story, and it's going to inspire other people to engage and commit to something bigger than themselves, join their own business. So you want to treat your leads, these people being interested, as people. Okay, so get to know them, understand them, talk to them, engage with them, and then just build a foundation, and then the riches will come to you. Okay, because if you're here just for the money, you're not going to get any money. Be here for the people. Contribute to other people, contribute to society, and then you will eventually receive the riches that you want.
Yeah, I have this one fundamental, and it's one of the biggest fundamentals in sales. If you don't know anything about sales, there's a fundamental that says give to get, right? So if you want to get a lot of income in your life, you have to give, right? You have to give information, you have to give value, okay? Where there's value, people will buy. So give to get. One of the reasons why I actually give out, I'm not sure if you guys know this, but in my email series, I give out a free ebook to you guys, PDF that I made. Took me a while to type the whole freaking thing out, like 14, 15 pages, big giant pain in the neck. But I give value to get. You give information, you give value to get, and often it sells itself. So just give value to people. All right, I think that's about it. I think that about covers this up. We've been on for about 50, 60 minutes. I think 55 actually. So no one has any other questions. We're going to stop this live. We're going to cut it off. Anybody else coming in with anything else, Tyrone?
Did you answer how would you get around my personal income question if you aren't where you are right now?
What's that?
Brandon, I think I don't know if he answered or not. He said, how would you get around my personal income question if you aren't where you are right now? I don't know if you answered that already or not.
No, I don't even see that chat.
Oh, okay.
What was hammer out the question? Is there anything else I missed out of that question? Because it doesn't appear like it's a full question.
No, no.
Okay, well, I'm not really sure what you're talking about. If you're trying to create some type of income goal, obviously you probably should create that for yourself, but you should also, as I said before, you should be thinking of a person when you think of that income goal. So break down that income goal into days. I always like to do days. Days are not a scary number. So you think about $60,000 a year. That's only 2 sales a day.
True.
Okay, if that's it, we're going to jump off here. Appreciate y'all coming out. And if you guys have any other questions for us, please send us a message. We can get on a call with you guys probably here. As I said, I typically flag off about 4 to 5 hours a day where I can get on phone calls, and I am available to you guys. Do not call my cell phone number. If you call my cell phone number, I probably won't answer because I don't know who it is, right? It's like, if a bunch of people are spamming my phone, I typically don't pick up. So if you go ahead, message me on Messenger and say, hey, want to get on a call? Cool, I'll get on a call with you. But I don't like to take tons and tons of phone calls. I've done this before. I actually put my phone number on my page before. Had to change my freaking phone number. So I was getting like 50, 60, 70 phone calls a day. So, all right, guys. If you guys have any other questions, please hit us up in the chats and talk to y'all later. Make this week a productive one. Okay? Take care. Peace.